Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and this one we are testing the GeForce RTX 3060 Ti in Stalker 2, and here are the specs of the GPU. We are using the Zotac Twin Edge OC model of the card. This is a GDDR6 variant of the card, and we have 8 gigabytes of VRAM from Hynix. We are using the latest NVIDIA driver 566.14, which is the game ready driver for Stalker 2, and resizable bar is enabled inside BIOS. Over here in Task Manager, we have the Intel Core i7-13700K CPU as always. For memory, we have 64 gigabytes of DDR5, 6000 megahertz, CL36, and finally for MSI Afterburner, no overclocks are applied. Everything is set to stock settings except the fan speeds, which I have to set to 90 because the cooler on this GPU, the Zotac Twin Edge cards, the dual fan cards, they're very bad. Their fans are. So let's get inside the game and check out the frame rates. So here we are inside the menu, guys. We're starting it off at 1080p resolution at first. We are gonna disable reflex and low latency because what I have seen from Chris P's video or WormZ, you know him pretty well, I guess, that disabling this when you are not using frame generation, DLSS or FSR frame generation, it like maxes out the GPU usage and it removes all the CPU bottlenecking from the game, especially in this town area. So let's go back. So we are going to use medium settings at first, and we are going to use DLAA. There's not much difference from TAA and DLAA. DLAA is far superior in terms of visuals in this game, and you get like 3 FPS more if you use like TAA, 2 or 3. So yeah, not a good sign so far at least right at the beginning. As you can see, we are in this camp area and we are not even getting like 60 FPS even, and barely hitting 60 like when we're about to leave the camp, and we will probably be around 60 and over 60 outside the camp for sure, but inside the camp it's pretty harsh, honestly. And yeah, disabling reflex is so much more smoother now without when you're not using frame generation. So thanks to him, thanks to Crisp for discovering this. And right now, as you can see, we are using like 23 gigs of RAM. That is quite insane. Like, look at the VRAM usage. It's even below like 6 gigs. And we are even gonna hit 70. Can we hit 70 FPS on the counter there? 68. Can we? Come on, 69. Yeah, there we go. 69. Nice. Come on, 70. There we go. So yeah, you can hit 70 FPS in some situations. Maybe if you are able to slightly OC the GPU a bit more, you can squeeze out 1 or 2 more FPS. I mean, for 3060, it's quite a lot, 2 FPS. And you can use TIA as well, and the textures, they look so good even on medium settings. Look at the ground, pretty good. I just love the textures in this game, and it's just using like 6 gigs of VRAM, that's it. And the pop-ins, we can't do anything about that in this game, unfortunately, guys. So we are gonna stick to medium settings still. We have reflex off. We're gonna use DLSS Qlty right now at 1080p resolution. And I really don't like using DLSS at 1080p resolution. It just like makes the image so much more soft and blurry at the same time. And when using DLSS or even without DLSS in this game, I generally prefer using 50% sharpness, because otherwise the game looks very soft and unsharp, to be honest. I mean, what do you call what is the opposite of sharp? um let me know that in the comments. Okay, so entering the camp area now again. Even with quality DLSS, we cannot get 60 plus FPS most of the time. Okay, we are getting it, just stuttered there, that's why it dropped. But yeah, we're getting 69, 70, pretty much the same FPS which we're getting outside over there, out of the camp. Let's go to that side now. And also, guys, they have the developers have released a new post regarding their future patch. They're gonna fix the issues they have listed there. I will put it on the screen right now for you guys to see it if you haven't already. And there is no sign of like performance improvements at all, just a bunch of game breaking issues or story breaking issues, which I was also facing in this playthrough. If you have seen my live stream, you know that. But yeah, no performance fixes yet, but I hope they do that pretty soon and they don't become too late with that. Okay, right now we are getting close to 80 FPS. We are even hitting 80s over here. And look at the GPU usage as well. It's quite sitting nicely at 98, 99 most of the time, even at the camp area, which we have seen earlier. And that is because we have reflex turned off. And when turn it on, when we will turn reflex on when we use DLSS frame gen, sorry, FSR frame gen. This is not a 40 series GPU. I keep on forgetting that DLSS frame gen is not available on 30 series GPU. Come on, just make it available, NVIDIA. I know you can do it. Now, again, with medium settings, guys, I'm going to enable a FSR3 frame generation, but I'm going to make this to DLAA again, because we were getting like 60 FPS or close to that, the base FPS in native 1080p with medium, and we're going to turn on reflex because, as I said, otherwise it becomes CPU bound, the game. So make sure you turn on reflex when using frame generation, and that really helps with the input lag though. So yeah, the input delay is quite noticeable, guys. I can really notice it. It is not that great, especially the FSR3 frame generation. We all know it's way worse than DLSS frame generation. Like at 90 FPS with DLSS frame generation, we couldn't really notice that much of an input delay. It was quite manageable, but this is not so much, guys. Let's go outside. Let's see if we get 100 plus FPS. What happens then? And as you can see, the GPU usage though, it's gonna stick to 100% because of that reflex, which we turned on. Yeah, it's still quite noticeable. It's not that good. I'm gonna quickly disable reflex just to show you what happens when we have FG turned on. And yeah, the input delay is even far worse now with the frame gen or the reflex turned off. Yeah, it's quite worse. It doesn't drop the GPU usage though, or it doesn't make your game CPU bound because you're using frame generation, but the input delay is far worse with now I'm gonna keep reflex enabled because we are gonna again use FSR3 frame generation, but this time with quality DLSS because the input delay was quite noticeable even in native res. Let's see how much DLSS Qlty can help us. And what are those white lines? Yeah, frame generation artifacts. I have seen them with the DLSS frame gen also, but this is way too worse. It's way too visible. And right now, yeah, it's way better. I can't really notice that much of a delay. There is certainly some delay, but yeah, it's much less noticeable now. It's pretty good now. You can play this way, but come on, this is a 3060 Ti and we have to use like a medium settings with frame generation with quality DLSS on top at 1080p resolution to make the game feel good and playable. That is not nice. I mean, at 1080p, it should be able to run it at least with high settings. But even though the medium settings in this game looks quite good, I can't complain on that. But yeah, that's the problem. If I have set it to like medium settings, the game should actually look like medium settings, but this doesn't. This is more like high, and epic is more in line with high, the epic settings of this game, I would say, or very high, so to speak. But this looks so good even on medium, but I won't be testing the low preset because yeah, that's quite bad. And I don't think you should be playing it on low with a 3060 Ti. Now I'm still at 1080p resolution with reflex turned off because we're not going to use frame generation. We're going to use high quality settings. Let's see how much we can get at native 1080p, but I'm going to use TAA because we need all the FPS we can get with the 3060 Ti to be able to run it at least 60 FPS. And unfortunately we can't even get 60 FPS. So the reason why I selected TIA over DLA for this one is because we need those 3 FPS. But as you can see, the problem with TIA in this game, when you start moving the grass and everything around you, it becomes so blurry, and I don't like that, to be honest. But either way, there's a bunch of anomalies here. Yeah, it's become so blurry when you move. Look at those bushes. I don't really like that. But anyway, if you just use DLA over this, just keep that in mind that you're gonna get like 6 frames, or sorry, 3 FPS less than this. Which side is the camp? I have to see the map. Oh, behind me. Okay, it's over that side. And we are getting 60 FPS in this area. It will definitely drop once we hit the campsite. And it's probably gonna be nighttime soon. Before that happens, let me go to the camp real quick, then I have to reload my save game again. And you're gonna see the GPU usage not dropping below like 98 that much in this area. Okay, never mind. It dropped. It dropped there. But yeah, that only happens when you enter. What is happening? Why is it dropping? It shouldn't drop with reflex turned off, but I think it's a little bit better than reflex being turned on with the native resolution without frame generation. So yeah, this is, wow, that was a huge stutter there. So yeah, it's not like that you can't play like this with high settings, but you will see occasional FPS drop. You are gonna have a hard time, like if there's a bunch of NPCs around you, you're gonna have a hard time during the fights in this game. And especially you get attacked by a bunch of monsters in this game, which are very fast, and you need to like be very precise with your aim. It becomes a bit difficult. This time with high settings, but with quality DLSS turned on. Let's check this out. So at 1080p resolution we are still, but with DLSS set to quality, yeah, it's very soft, the images. DLSS implementation is not the greatest, I would say, in this game. It's just fine, it's decent, but either way you can get 60 plus, as you can see, with high settings. But that's the problem with DLSS. At 1080p it's like 720p, it gets upscaled to 1080p, which is really not that great. As you can see at the campsite, we are getting 60 plus FPS, but you will see those occasional stutters when we move around. It's UE5, of course, we all know that that's gonna happen. It's pretty common with UE5 games, and nothing can be done about that. As you can see, this is the most demanding area. When I go out of the camp and then come back in, look at that drop, like they're into the 40s there, and then it gradually comes back up to like 60 or close to 60. And yeah, not a great experience, and I don't think I'm going to test frame generation on top of DLSS Qlty because yeah, the input lag of like FSR frame generation is not that great in this game. I don't really like it, so yeah, we will skip that. So now I'm switching it to 1440p resolution with reflex turned off, and we are using overall quality as medium. Right now we're not gonna test low, and I'm using TAA to get that 3 FPS bonus, and we are not gonna use FSR3 frame generation right now. So let's check this out. And we are outside the camp, just outside the camp. Let's have a look around here. And yeah, with TAA you have that bloodiness when you walk through like trees and bushes. That was more visible at 1080p. At 1440p this is much better. But as you can see, we are not even getting like 50 FPS. It's just hovering around that 50 FPS mark. And in terms of smoothness, it's absolutely not smooth. As you can see, the frame time graph constantly going up and down, and that's why it's not so smooth. So we will have to try some quality DLSS very soon. Let me just quickly get inside the camp and see this. Looking at the VRAM usage, it's not that demanding in the VRAM. This game is very like light in terms of VRAM. No, I won't put down the gun. Look at the FPS there. It dropped to like 30s there for a few seconds as we enter the room. Not the room, the camp, and that always happens when you enter through that side. And now here we're getting like 42, 43, 45, and it's okay. It's decent, not that great of an experience, I would say. Now I'm gonna quickly enable DLSS Qlty, and I think this will really help us, especially when we are outside the camp. Let's go ahead and check this out. And even in the campsite, we are getting like close to like 60 FPS, not quite 60, not even yeah. In this side we do get that, but that side of the camp is pretty heavy. I think it's because of this, you know, these two merchants. One is on this house, another one is there. I think one is here. It's probably because of these three people. I think one is also in this room. So it's maybe because of them. And what's wrong with him? Stop walking. What if I shoot him? I won't put down my gun, okay? I won't ever do that anymore. So as you can see, as we are leaving the camp, we are getting 60 plus FPS. So most likely once we go a little bit further away from the camp, we'll probably be hitting like 70 FPS also. Let's see if we can get 70 FPS. We did see 68 there. And what's over here though? Oh, there's that anomaly. I don't know how to interact with that though. But as you can see, 68, can't get more than that, unfortunately. 69, there we go, 71 FPS. So we can definitely achieve that with the 3060 Ti at 1440p with medium settings. And this looks quite better than native 1080p, honestly, with quality DLSS at 1440p. So up next, with medium settings at 1440p, I'm going to use DLSS Qlty and also enable FSR3 frame generation on top of that. And I have reflex as well enabled. And let's see this now, 100 FPS and FSR3 frame generation. Yeah, it's kind of noticeable. And especially in an FPS game like this, it is gonna be a little bit difficult to manage this input latency, you know. But if it was DLSS frame generation, it would have been much less noticeable at 100 FPS. I really can't notice that much of a like delay when I use my 4060 or 4070 Ti Super, or even the 4070 which I tested today. And yeah, quite a good FPS we can get with FSR3 frame generation, but there is that slight bit of delay which you have to like deal with. And I can certainly play it this way, but I think I would much rather stick with quality DLSS only and not use frame generation or FSR3 frame generation in this game. It's not that great. And finally, for the video, we're going to test 4K resolution as well. I know it's a 3060 Ti and 4K makes no sense, but still I'm going to do it, but with low settings, obviously. Don't expect even medium settings. We're going to start it off with DLSS Qlty. Let's see what happens with that. So here we go, guys, at 4K resolution using quality DLSS in low graphic settings. And obviously this was expected, like from low to medium is a big jump in terms of visuals, you know. That's why I said like medium doesn't really feel like medium settings. There is like a huge gap from low to medium in this game. Low is definitely low, but I think the medium settings should be high settings and epic should be very high, and between medium to low there should be another settings, to be honest. But anyway, as you can see in this demanding area, when we are entering or leaving the camp, we are dropping to like 37. So this is quite playable, but obviously who's gonna play like this with these crappy looking textures and everything? The grass looks awful. There is barely any vegetation now in low settings. The trees have disappeared completely from the view. Such a wide open area now. And there is even more pop-ins now. Shadows have disappeared. Lighting is like awful. Finally, I'm gonna drop this to like performance DLSS, guys, and let's see what happens. With low preset and performance DLSS, we might just be able to hit that 60 FPS. Look at all those pop-ins over there. Just watch. Yeah, look at that tree. Just when I scope in. So yeah, it's pretty hilarious to play like this. Like it just seems like I'm playing a whole different game, or like an old stalker game from 2010s, or I don't know, when did the last stalker game came out? 2007, 8? Well, I don't really remember, but yeah, those games look pretty good as well in terms of graphics, just like this. Just kidding. But yeah, you know what I mean. But either way, we might just be able to hit 60 FPS here and there if we keep on roaming around. 59. Come on, there we go. 62, 61. So if I stand here for a bit, the average will be like 60. But anyway, who would want to play like that? So that will be it for this video, guys. Do leave a like if you enjoyed and this video helped you. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Till then, take care and bye-bye.